was 1 hour ago.
No way. Oh, and we are live now.
We are live
on YouTube.
Live on YouTube.
There are people who can officially start looking at this stream right
That's
now.
what I'd like to hear. We haven't even started recording the show, but we are live on YouTube. It now says live. Waiting. I have a chat up here. You can even add more things into the chat.
I'm going to say stuff to my chat. Hey, chat.
Hey, chat.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, and I think, look at that. A video of you is showing up right now.
Oh, look at that.
All right, so I am turning that off.
Beard.
All right, so now I'm going to hit record over here.
Okay.
Oh, I need to get this. All right, here we go. Headphones. All right.
Well,
oh no! Oh no! Everybody cover your face.
This is just it's been a while for us, and I'm having a hard time getting back into it. And I know there's a lot of craziness out there so far as things that are going around. But we are back.
We are back.
Banter, Beskar, and Banthamilk.
It sure is.
It's a Mandalorian podcast, and we are streaming once again live on YouTube. We got the kinks out a little bit from last week.
I think so.
We can now transition. Look, you're looking at my pretty face, but now you're looking at Rob's.
Now you're looking at me. Now it's me. Well, what?
Camera number one.
Camera number two. Camera one.
Camera number two. It's been a while.
It has.
I'm really glad
been
to
a
be
long
back.
time.
Welcome back.
I am glad that we are back as well. I like being back.
An interesting couple of Star Wars weeks. There's not a lot of Mandalorian news, but there's a lot of Star Wars stuff going on, and we wanted to get back at it. Yes. So here we are, Banter, Beskar, Banthamilk. A Mandalorian podcast usually. But a Star Wars podcast at its essence,
yes.
right?
I mean, hey, The Mandalorian is Star Wars.
That's true.
He's in hiatus right now, so let's talk about other Star Wars stuff.
I mean, I can talk about Star Wars till the cows come home anyway, but here we are. So I just wanted to remind you all, in case you forgot, because I think some of you forgot, we are all over social media. We're everywhere. We're on the Facebooks.
And I think we even forgot.
Yeah, I think we did too.
It's been so long that we even forgot.
I mean, we're teachers, so it's been a really chaotic
couple of weeks. We've been busy.
But we are back here, and we are ready to talk Star Wars.
We're going to keep talking until there's only 2 listeners left. And and just Nick and I, and we'll just keep talking to ourselves, and we don't care.
That's fine.
That's fine. Yes.
Yeah. So just to remind you, we are on Google. You can send us an email at banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes,
you can come check us out on Instagram. Right, we're on Instagram at Banthamilk Podcast.
Yep.
We're on Facebook at Banthamilk Podcast. That's a pretty recurring theme, but
except on Twitter.
Not on Twitter. We're Banthamilk on
just
Twitter.
Just Banthamilk.
Right, so if you want to come check out some Bantha goodness, please check us out, and please send us some stuff. We've had some people sending us some really great pictures. We had our buddy Ryan, aka Rhino Pride.
Rhino Pride.
He sent us a glorious picture of his very own blue milk.
Right? In Galaxy's Edge.
Very own Galaxy's Edge.
Blue
I'm trying to pull it up right here for my YouTube fans. Look at this, YouTube fans.
What?
We're on Rob's face first. Here we go. Look at that. There's his blue milk. Sent it to us. Told us he listens to us on his way home from school. We appreciate you listening. We know we have a couple school-aged folk listening to us at the very least, so we're happy to have anyone who's listening to us.
Also, real fast, I have a very unofficial announcement right now.
Here we go.
Unofficial announcement about an unofficial event that is going to take place at Walt Disney World. We all know this picture, Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars centric land in Disney World. We're gonna have a Banter, Beskar, and Banthamilk day, unofficial day in Star Wars. Look for in Walt Disney World. Look for it soon. It's gonna take place probably the week after 4th of July. So get your airline reservations now.
They're really cheap right now.
They're really cheap right now, yes. Going to large places where there's large amounts of people will be very cheap right now.
We were originally planning to do it in Disneyland, Hong Kong, but that didn't work out.
That didn't work out, no.
They had to reschedule. I hear there's some stuff going down in China right now, so we decided we're just going to go and have it right here in good old America.
Good old American
Which
Disney
makes
World.
a lot of sense, because right now, I've begun creating our drink, by the way, because I figure It's got a lot of parts to it. This is a drink of my own creation. And by my own creation, I mean I took an existing drink and I decided to make it Star Warsy. But
Wars.
yeah, I got to tell you, I had you in mind when I was doing this, my
Thank
friend,
you.
because it is a fruity, delightful
And I
drink.
love fruity, delightful
I know you
drinks.
do, my friend. I know you do.
I like beer and fruity, delightful drinks.
Well, since we're having this great Banter, Beskar, and Banthamilk Day in good old America, I decided, why not get this America? Look at that. It's an America bottle. For
America
this vodka,
Absolute
right?
bottle.
It was on sale. It's capitalism.
There you
the
go.
most American thing.
That's
in this, right?
If it's on sale, it's good for us.
That's right. So I am making right now an interesting Star Wars beverage.
I like it.
That is, I am basing off of the Malibu Bay Brews.
Okay.
It always makes me feel like I'm in a nice mood, like I'm chilling on the beach somewhere. And I was researching some Star Wars drinks, and I discovered one called the Fizzyglug.
Fizzyglug.
Now, there's not a lot of information out there about the Fizzyglug.
Kind of like the Mandalorian's chair. There's not a lot of information about that.
And if you're looking at his camera right now, you might not be seeing it in all of its glory, but we're going to talk about this delightful throne that Rob has created for himself. It is.
Yes.
It is really something else right there. So we're going to go ahead and make what I'm calling the Fizzyglug. Again, there wasn't a whole lot of info out there on it, except for the fact that it had some sort of coconutty thing in it.
Okay.
And apparently it paired well with death sticks.
Okay.
And, if you don't know what death sticks are in the Star Wars universe, they're not good.
They're not good.
They're an illicit substance that you should not be imbibing. But apparently you can put them in a Fizzyglug, and it's quite delightful.
And it's quite well. We're doing it without the death sticks.
Yeah, that's why I got some vodka. I figure we'll put a little vodka in it, and see
it turned on you.
These microphones are finicky. We're all about professionalism here at Banthamilk headquarters. While I'm making these drinks, I think Rob needs to talk about this glorious chair that he's sitting in, because it is really
so. I have some pictures that we can show, and I did post them on my personal account and tagged Banter, Beskar, and Banthamilk in them, but we'll add them now that we're talking about it on our Instas. It'll give us some things to post about as well. So the captain's chair of our good friend Dim Sun, that's not his name.
Dim Sun. Kyle. His name is Kyle.
Kyle.
I don't care who says what.
Whatever you want to call him. His name is Kyle, but he has... Every once in a while, they were showing some pictures of him sitting in his chair as he's flying his Razor Crest, and it was really hard to get
Razor Crest.
Not
the
no.
Razor Crest.
There are many.
Yes,
it annoys me as well. That's why I specifically said his Razor Crest. I'm with you on that 100%. But
we'll talk to Ryan when he comes on. Ryan
that's right.
Or JJ or one of them.
Or one of them.
One of the big wigs.
So I saw a couple of very quick shots. In all 8 episodes, I was only able to see like 2 shots of the chair that I was able to try and get a good reference of. And then I decided I'm going to make my own version of that. So I started out with a chair that I saw in the trash, and I stripped it down for all of its parts and only its parts. All the padding and everything gone. All that's left is just the metal frame, the wheels, and the metal brace that holds the bottom to the back.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with. I mean, I can't even begin to think of how one might begin something like this, and it does make you feel like you're a ship captain for sure.
Yes. Oh, it's awesome. So then I drew some. I can hear it. It sounds delicious.
There you go.
Then I drew some pictures from what I saw, trying to get some measurements. Of course, none of this I could tell as to scale or not, because there's one shot that I was using for the back and one shot for the front. But
didn't you mention that there was some weirdness with the exact the design of the chair?
So here's what I discovered from painstakingly staring at images of the chair. On the front of the chair, when he sits down, it has the padding the way.
Why don't you stand up?
I'm going to stand up so you can see the chair a little bit.
Show our YouTube live stream here, right? If you're watching us, if you're not watching us on YouTube, come and check out our YouTube channel, because this will be up there later. Look at that thing. That is glorious. Right?
So this padding here is what you see when he sits down, but when Baby Yoda, the child, was sitting in it, completely different.
Yeah,
completely different.
Yeah,
and then
so either we've got a Hollywood continuity error issue, or Kyle just likes to switch around his furniture. That's possible, right?
Here's the back. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards continuity issues.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
So
he put a lot of work into this thing. How many days did this thing take you to make?
It took me about 6 or 7 days, a couple of hours each day between sanding, cutting. I have a CNC machine, a real fancy machine. So I use that to cut all the measurements of the chair perfectly left and right, top and bottom is all exactly the same. And then lots and lots of sanding, sizing, resizing, resanding, painting, staining. Even I learned how to sew for the pads here. I sewed all this because in the picture there was like a seam that went around the edge, so I made sure I had a little seam going around the edge. I was trying to be like cosplay chair master out of this chair. So I'm very happy with it.
I gotta ask you, was it worth it?
Oh, totally worth it.
All right.
Totally worth it.
And I got to tell you, I did sit in it. It's comfortable.
Thank you.
It looks like, when you're picturing, a captain sitting at the bridge of their ship, you would think maybe comfort isn't exactly forefront of their mind, but they got to sit there a lot.
They got to sit there a lot.
So
you're flying for hours.
Probably, Mando, our boy Kyle, is sitting in there in full armor.
Full armor the whole time. He won't even take his helmet off. No.
So,
yeah.
Got flying comfort a little bit.
So I have all kinds of pictures, step by step of what I was going to do. I was even contemplating making like an Instructable. There's a website called Instructables where they tell you how to do things. All my step by step processes of making it. But that's a lot of work, and I'm pretty lazy when it comes to that. So I do have a whole bunch of pictures for it, but I am very proud of it.
He builds a chair. Takes 6 days to build a chair, but he's too lazy to go ahead and tell you.
Tell you how I did it. Yeah.
On that note, we do have this drink made here, this Fizzyglug. It smells pretty good, I'll tell you.
Yes, it does.
We have just for your edification back home. I did make this up on the spot. It is very much like a Malibu Bay Breeze. We've got Malibu, our nice coconut rum. We've got cranberry juice. We've got pineapple juice. But we also have a nice little bit of Absolute vodka. And I found this Belle V passion fruit sparkling water at Aldi.
Nice.
Check out your local Aldi for that. And the way I figure it, it's this nice fruity pairing with death. If you're going to pour a death stick into something, you should probably cover it up with something fruity and delicious.
Yes, exactly. Right? So, I agree.
So we're going to go ahead and take a sip of this. Cheers,
all right,
my friend.
Cheers. Let me work away around here. There we go. Cheers.
All right.
Let's take a sip. It smells delicious.
I like it.
It's very good.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I like it.
What do you think, man?
Considering you made it up on the spot, I'm giving it, very high praise. Me personally, I think there's a lot of the sparkling water in it. That's what I taste a lot of.
It's a little too watered down. Once I'm done half of it, I'm gonna rectify that situation.
Right. Yeah. You'll drink half the water out and then fill it with more juice.
It was I've never tried this. I never put it together. It was right here.
Yeah.
So halfway through this episode, I'm going to give it a new score.
But right now,
I'm putting it. It's definitely not.
It's not in the Yodas. No.
It might be a Leia.
Maybe
if it's a Leia, it's a low.
It's Leia, a low.
Maybe a high Chewie.
I could see a high Chewie. A high Chewie.
I think it's just a little too watered down right now. I'm going to take a big old.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and bet once we get to the bottom, we're not going to be saying that.
Right. Exactly. At the bottom, we're going to be like, "Ooh, this is great."
Really good. I'm going to put it at least high Wookiee. What would be a high Wookiee? High Chewie.
A high Chewie, probably like a Chewie.
Chewie kind of looks the same in every.
He does, but you got to go with actions, like Chewie when he shot Kylo Ren.
That was dude. They made his crossbow seem so awesome.
Oh yeah.
In the new trilogy,
in
the OT, it's
Yeah, you're like
got the bowcaster, and I always thought that was cool when I was a kid. In fact, I was a musician, so like those wire music stands, if you mess with them a certain way, you can make it kind of look like a
bowcaster.
When I was a kid, that's all I used to do.
Yeah. That's the only reason you practiced.
That was it right there. That and my parents made me. Hey, kids, practice your instruments. Anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say you're right. Mr. Baca.
Right. Yes, Mr. Baca.
Shooting Kylo Ren with
Kylo Ren. It's like the highest Chewbacca.
The highest possible civilian Chewbacca honor, right?
And so before we continue, we have one more feedback that we want to get into. Now you talked about Rhino and his picture from Galaxy's Edge.
That's right.
We have another one. A guy named Josh sent us information.
Yeah, Josh has been chatting back and forth with us for a little bit. This is great too because we get a lot of feedback from like our friends, and we're really appreciative of the fact that a lot of our friends support what we do. But we're starting to get some people who just kind of stumbled upon us via either hearing from someone else or else just stumbling on it, which is always really cool.
Yeah. So this is a Josh from Illinois. He works in Champaign, Illinois.
All right. I used to live about an hour away from Champaign in Normal. Champaign-Urbana, it's a big college town. It's got U of I, right? So rock on. I've been to Champaign
so
many times.
He's all the way up in Illinois. So and it's not Illinois.
No.
The S is silent. It's a silent S.
Is that Iroquois? I don't even know.
I don't
French?
know.
Native American?
All I know
I
is
don't
if you're from Illinois and you hear somebody
No, you
say
don't like that.
Illinois, they get real mad.
I gotta say
Yeah.
though, the interesting thing about that is that people from Illinois have a very distinct accent.
They do.
It was very interesting. I didn't realize that until I moved out there.
Yeah.
You don't hear it except for certain words.
Certain words, yeah.
But then you really do hear it. To all my Illinois friends out there, hey there, you might be listening. I made
We're
some
not
friends
gonna-
in Illinois that might be listening to us.
They
We're
could
not
be.
gonna-
Who knows?
We're not going to spend this episode bashing the way you talk because I'm from New Jersey.
That's right, and
we
we talk horrible.
very easily do
Yeah,
the same dots,
and
right?
especially South Jersey, we have that Philly water accent, so
That's
it's even worse.
That's
So
right.
whatever. John says way back in February, I'm still faithfully listening every week. And by the way, some fun news. I won a contest to name a beer. It's the Champagne Urban Craft Beer Lovers Facebook group, collaborating with Triptych Brewing. Triptych. I can't read, so whenever
Rob's having
there's
a hard time today.
whenever there's I can't read anything. I mean, whenever there's words that are strong more than like the and dog, I have no idea what they say. So Triptych Brewing,
Filoni, Rob, it's
Filoni,
Filoni.
Dave Filoni, Filoni Brewing in Savoy, Illinois.
Mhm.
It will be a mango milkshake IPA, which sounds
Wow.
delicious.
Wow.
And the name that won was the Mango-Lorian.
Mango-Lorian. That is
Mango-Lorian.
excellent.
So he suggested that
Aces
he
for that
won.
title.
Yes. So then he gets to help brew it. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So he already had the brew day, and he just sent us 12 pictures from the brew day, from him mashing in the 50-pound bags of grain and their canisters of their brewing everything, and it's really, really cool. And even the logo, it's called the Bounty Hunters Ale. Oh, it's a T-shirt. Mandalorian's Double. This is so cool. He's got a T-shirt. Father and Son Brewing Company, Bounty Hunters Ale. I don't know if it's the same brewery or not, but he found this beer T-shirt that he sent us a picture of as well. So, Josh, awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thanks for letting us know this.
Absolutely, and we drink a lot of cocktails, Star Wars
Yeah.
cocktails on our show, but that's because it's a lot easier to find a Star Wars cocktail or make a Star Wars cocktail than it is to make a Star Wars beer.
Yeah.
But we like beer. We're beer drinkers,
We
right?
are
So
beer
if you are
drinkers.
a craft brewer out there, if you do home brew yourself, and you've got one that you want to send our way, name it after a Star Wars. If you want to name it the
Banter
Beskar.
Beskar.
And I don't know, Bantha beer. I don't know what you want to name it. I'm not a very creative guy, but you are. That's the important part. So let us know. We'd love to drink some of your beverages. We'd love to feature you on our show for our dozens and dozens of listeners to listen to.
That's right.
So yeah, send that our way, and we would love to feature you on the show.
So that's awesome. So we're going to see if we can get Josh on maybe for our next episode, see if he can talk to us about what it was like to brew in this giant brewery and all that good stuff, and naming it and everything like that. So maybe we'll be able to find our way some of this awesome beer as well. So it would be great to drink it, but
And that would make Rob happy.
it would make me very happy
Right?
because
Every
I am
now and
a
then I
beer
come in
person.
here with a whiskey drink, and he's like, "I'm going to drink this."
Yeah.
And I'll do my job, and this is not for me. But when it's a beer, Rob has this certain glow. about
I
him.
start to glow.
That's right. He
My
gets very
eyes light
happy.
up. I get the little emoji hearts in my eyes. I'm like,
yeah.
yay, beer.
That's
So
right.
there we go.
So before we get into some more content here for Star Wars, as always, as every episode, I've made some errors. I'm sure I'll make some errors
What?
this episode.
What? We
I-
made a mistake.
You
At
can
least we're
see-
consistent.
That's true. We are consistently wrong. And you can see now, because we're live streaming, this is not some sort of high class operation we got
Nope.
here. We're kind of just hanging out, having a drink, and chatting Star Wars.
Yep.
So when I'm firing off at the hip like that, I'm bound to make some mistakes.
Exactly.
Of course, we have our official fact checker, Doug.
Yes. Doug is our fact checker.
Yes, indeed. Down in South Carolina, our buddy Doug. Doug went to college in Illinois with me.
There
actually.
you go. All
we got our
right.
master's degrees together. He had several corrections.
Oh,
for
no,
last
several?
time. Yeah, well, if you listen to last episode, we had our buddy Chris on. It was a great episode, but we were plagued with hardware issues.
Yes. So we were
the
not
live stream was on for 40 minutes before we
before
even
the show started.
Our technology for sound wasn't working right, and so it was a mess. So our brains were scattered, and
Yes.
I made some inaccurate statements. So
All right.
starting from the top here. Yeah, we had mentioned the non-CGI Clone Wars, right? That was its own thing. It did have similar themes and similar characters. Like I'm fairly certain Asajj Ventress was in it and
Okay.
Grievous was in it, but I don't think they had a connection. I think it was like a hard reset once they got to the CGI version. I also mentioned Savage Opress, who was Darth Maul's brother, right?
Okay.
One of the Night Brothers. And I had mentioned, I guess off the cuff, I had said something about him training with Palpatine. What really happened was there was this really excellent fight scene in Clone Wars. Again, if you haven't watched Clone Wars, we're going to talk a little bit of Clone Wars today.
Yeah, because the seventh season is out.
They did just release a couple episodes from the seventh season, and it's really good. But in the Clone Wars, there was this really great fight sequence between Palpatine, and he was fighting Maul and Savage. And it was an excellent scene, and it was like one of those times where like we don't get to see in the movies, but we get to see in all this new stuff we're getting exactly how powerful Palpatine is. I guess we got a little glimpse of that in the newer movie.
We did
when he zapped a whole fleet out of
the
sky.
He's so strong. I hope it's not too early. We can talk about this now, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get into some Palpatine talk right now. We're just gonna wait until I finish my corrections. But Palpatine was a hot button issue over the last, I don't know, couple weeks. Star Wars fans are angry, and so we're going to chat about that.
But they're always angry.
We also have, let's see, I made a lot of Rex. Rex was the one I had mentioned that there was a clone at the Battle of Endor, or potentially a clone of the Battle of Endor.
Okay.
That was Captain Rex.
Captain Rex was there,
but it's not canon apparently.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and say it's in my head canon.
That's right.
Head canon. And all right, what else you got for me? There's no way Ahsoka is with Anakin. Rescuing the Supreme Chancellor would be Jedi business. She's no longer part of the Jedi Order. I guess that's kind of up for debate. I don't know if that's a correction, but Doug, I had mentioned that this newest season of Clone Wars is supposed to lead directly into Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
And Doug is of the opinion that rescuing the Supreme Chancellor would be Jedi business. She's no longer part of the Jedi Order, which is true.
Yes.
At the end of I don't know that necessarily means that she wouldn't be there, because we're definitely going to see her. And we know that while she's not a Jedi, she definitely continues the fight.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll kind of see what happens as this season goes on. But we've got some really good stuff going on so far as Star Wars goes right now. But let's talk Palpatine.
Palpatine.
Drinking right here, because this is the
most awesomest bad guy of all the bad guys.
Now, I have a huge vested interest in Palpatine.
You love Palpatine. He's your favorite.
He's my favorite Sith for sure. If you haven't read the Darth Plagueis book yet, it's not canon anymore, but you should go read the Darth Plagueis book. If you recall, in Episode 3, the Emperor, as he becomes, but Palpatine starts talking about Darth Plagueis the Wise. Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? And Darth Plagueis was his master.
Okay.
Right? He doesn't outright say that, but it's pretty heavily implied.
Okay.
And so this whole book kind of travels along the life of Darth Plagueis from when he was a Sith the Sith apprentice to the Sith master that was Darth Tenebrous before him. And then it shows him like discovering Palpatine and stuff. And so it just kind of really gives you an insight into the mind of Palpatine more than the movies do. Because the movies kind of make him out to be this kind of, he's a bad guy. He's really evil. He looks ugly, right? You know, it's like the stereotype.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
But it gets really deep into Palpatine stuff. But now, everyone knows we had the shift the change in direction of Star Wars storytelling when Disney came on board.
Right.
Right. We had this whole established, many books and comic books and all this different stuff setting up the Star Wars universe. And then Disney said, nah.
That doesn't exist.
Nah, we want our own try at it, right? So they wiped a lot of stuff out and they went with their own. And then we have these newest movies. Whatever you feel about them is one thing. I know a lot of people have very strong opinions about them.
Yes.
I personally liked them. But
I like them.
I'm a pretty easy Star Wars fan to please in that I love Star Wars. But if you watched the most recent movie, our boy Sheev Palpatine, and that is his first name, by the way.
Sheev, yes.
Sheev.
He did not make that up like Kyle.
No, it is Sheev.
It is Sheev.
Which kind of sounds like Steve.
Does, which
and
Steves are always bad guys.
Name.
Yes.
See that?
So it goes, you could be a writer on Star Wars.
I mean, I would bet that some fans would definitely agree with the direction that Star Wars writing is going. But so, in the most recent movie, Sheev comes back. Right?
He does.
Everyone thought he was dead.
Thought he fell down a pole or down a hole.
Down a hole. He exploded.
Yeah.
He's back.
Luke fell down a hole, but he held on to the antenna.
With a very conveniently placed antenna.
The VHS antenna that was
just has, for whatever reason, some garbage chute opening up into it.
Yeah.
And so I guess just Palpatine coming back alone angers people.
Sure.
Now, in George Lucas's original version of all of this, Palpatine comes back.
Palpatine comes
How
back.
does he do so? Because he cloned himself a whole bunch of times, right?
Okay.
There's more to that, right? But there are many clones of Palpatine. Turkey's done. Many
Turkey's
clones of
done.
Palpatine, and he comes back via cloning, right?
Right.
A lot of people didn't really like that, and I think a lot of people saw the reboot as a chance for that to be rectified.
Okay.
We found out that Palpatine comes back, and in the movie he says, "How'd you do that?" And of course he gives that really great throwback of the dark side is the pathway to many abilities some
Yes.
consider to be unnatural. It turns out what that is cloning.
Cloning. Cloning is unnatural.
Because
what was the sheep that they cloned? Was it Lucy? Like in real, was it Lucy
sheep?
or something
I think
like
it
that?
might have been Lucy.
Yeah. So she's
Lucy, Sith Lord. Lucy.
Sith
right.
Lucy.
Darth Lucy, the white.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think it's the cloning so much that bothers them so much. But yeah, I don't know. People are really angry. I guess it's like some sort of thing where he actually did die. And this is all in the novelization. The novelization of the movie hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
If you've never read one of the novelizations, they're really good.
Okay.
It really gives you a lot of insight that you don't see in the movie.
Sure.
Like what they're thinking.
Well, they always say
like
the
that.
book is always better.
That's
So yeah, that's what they say.
Apparently not with this one.
Okay.
But I guess they had mentioned he did die, but his consciousness survived, and he was able to transfer his consciousness into this clone body, and that made them angry enough.
Okay.
That made them kind of upset.
Because I can see cloning. You get your DNA. We have the whole clone wars and everything like that. So they know how to clone. So that's fine. So there's going to be a second one of you or 200 of you. That's fine. We have the clone troopers.
Yeah.
But
part of the problem now is that made them angry enough, right?
Right.
But what apparently also comes out of this novelization, because we learn in the newest movie that Rey, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the most recent movie, put your fingers in your ears.
If you haven't seen the most recent movie that came out in December,
That's right.
3 months ago,
maybe you want to see the movie and stop listening right
check
now.
it out.
I don't want to tell you to stop listening to our
No.
podcast, but maybe see this movie.
Anyway, or this will just give you some insight into what you're about to see.
Yes. It turns out that Papa Palps, a.k.a. Grandpa Sheev, is Rey's grandfather.
Yes.
And that really threw people. That's like, I don't know why it threw people. They were like, for whatever reason, it was hard for them to believe that Sheev Palpatine could have had some sort of a romantic relationship that led to a child. Right? Which I guess I get. He's an evil dude.
So, all right. If you think about it that way, I kind of understand. Because every time we've seen him, he's been old. Even from episode 1. He was old in episode 1. And he never seemed like a happy guy. He never seemed like a guy that, that other people would want to start a relationship with him.
Yeah, I certainly didn't think he was that charming.
No, he never seemed charming.
He did manage to fool an entire galaxy.
He did.
So he must be a pretty eloquent guy. Be able to get people on the side.
So Rey, how old was Rey by the time? So when would he have had to? So it's his granddaughter. So he would have had to father somebody before episode 1. He
would have, but here's the problem. Apparently, the novelization tells us more.
Oh, good.
Apparently. It's not just that Sheev Palpatine was Rey's grandfather.
Okay.
Apparently, when he died and he transferred his essence. Now, again, this is all from the unreleased novelization. It might come out tomorrow. That this is completely wrong, but I'm pretty certain it's not.
Nick has a pre copy of it.
That's right.
Unreleased copy of it that he read the whole thing.
George sent it over to me.
Sent it directly to you.
My boy George. He's like, hey Nick.
Hey Nick,
I got this. Can you look this over for me and see if there's any inaccuracies? I'm like, yeah, brother, I got you.
Spell check this for me.
I got you.
I did it on my typewriter, so I don't have a red line underneath the words. Can you just spell check this for me?
I can't do that without the red lines.
Yeah, I know. You need the red lines.
Technology is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So Sheev transfers his essence into this other clone.
Okay.
Apparently, this other clone was unfit. It was an imperfect clone. It didn't work.
Oh.
So
darn.
That clone, he then essenced himself out of into a different clone body.
Oh.
And apparently that clone body, that powerless, cut off from the Force clone body, was the clone that actually was Rey's father.
Whoa. Now we're getting
So it wasn't Sheev that had a kid and that kid had Rey.
No.
It was Sheev that
cloned
became
himself.
Another person and then decided, nah, I don't like this skin. I'm going to hop into another one. And then that, empty shell of a Palpatine clone than had
Sure.
a kid, which is amazing to me because apparently the Force powers must have skipped a generation or something. I don't
Yeah,
know. That's a strange.
Yeah, very strange.
So people are really angry.
Okay, so that does that is very, very, very obscure.
It seems like a little convoluted.
Very convoluted. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
understand. I can understand frustration on that because that seems a little much. Like somebody really overthought that.
Well, here's the problem. The initial thought that when the movie came out was there's too much questions. You gave us a lot of stuff and you didn't tell me how it happened.
Okay,
But that's how Star Wars has kind of always been.
it's always been that way.
You know, at the end of episode 6, we get to see the Emperor die. Who's the Emperor? Oh, he's a really powerful guy that rules the universe.
Right.
Tell me more about him. No.
No.
They waited like 30 years to tell
Yeah.
us more about him.
Yeah.
Right? And so the end of this most recent one comes, and we have the Emperor comes back, and they didn't tell us how. And fans got angry.
Right.
I get that, but like some things don't need to be said, right?
No,
Like,
you
we
just
don't
need to know he's back.
everyone.
Hey, he's
And,
back.
Yeah, like he said, the dark side is the pathway to blah blah blah. Right? That's the reason.
Right.
He's a really powerful Sith, and he did that.
And he did it.
I think that would have been okay, but then people got angry and they decided, all right, let's explain more. And all it did was make it worse. It's like,
and then a bunch of guys got in a room, started smoking some funky stuff, and said, "What if we say this?"
right? It's like that scene from Simpsons. Who's Wiggum's kid? Ralph.
Ralph.
He's like, stop! He's already dead. It's like, yo, just stop.
Just
You're
stop.
done. Just let it be. Don't make it any worse.
Because the more you talk, the worse it gets. It's like when a kid gets caught lying, and then they make more lies on top of the lies, and then another lie on top of that lie, and then before you know it, they don't even know what they said anymore.
Why, Rob? That couldn't possibly ever happen.
No.
Not in school.
No,
or in your own
not as
household. Come on,
not
man.
as an educator or a parent. No,
Right.
never see
Never.
anything like that happen.
Would you like a top off here?
No, I'm fine.
Rob is like halfway. Rob is beating me on his drink so far.
Well,
by
you
the
just
way.
refilled it too, but
Only
yeah,
a little.
only
yeah,
a little.
we got halfway through, and I will tell you, I think I'm in a low Leia territory right now.
Okay.
I'm having a hard time talking. Even. It's been a rough week, man.
It's been numbing your tongue.
It's been a very long week.
Yes.
We've had a lot of stuff going
A
on.
lot of stuff in the real world,
But
in
it is-
RL,
Yeah,
as the
that's right,
kids say,
IRL. I think they say
IRL.
IRL.
Yes,
That'd be like saying in our life.
in
IR life.
in IR
We're
life,
really hip, y'all.
we are hip.
We
We're
teach
down.
children, so we're all about.
We know all the cool things to say.
We really don't. That's the most beautiful thing. I'm getting old.
So okay, so I get
that's
it.
the Palpatine drama.
The
They're not happy
Palpatine
about
drama is they just keep adding to the story
it. Yeah.
because they're like, if we keep throwing enough layers on top of this, eventually everybody will be happy with one of the layers,
They're not.
and they're not happy
Spoiler
with
alert.
any of the
They're
layers.
not.
But then again, I mean, if this is what cracks me up about Star Wars fans is if it's not what they had in their mind, they're not happy about it.
No, I get that. Yeah, it's true.
So people have, well, Palpatine has to be X, and when they say Palpatine is Y, oh no, that's wrong. And X can be many number of different X's, and when you only get one Y, then all the other X's are wrong.
That's true.
So whatever.
I would have to agree. I don't know. You're never going to please everyone.
No.
I feel like Star Wars is in a really hard place right now.
Yeah.
People are angry about it. I think they are currently changing their battle plans for it because they know.
Yeah.
They know exactly what's going on. They did also just announce the new book series, and I don't know if it's necessarily just going to be a book series. I think this is just going to be a launching off point for their next project,
Okay.
right? Because they're done with the Skywalker series.
Right. It's over.
Now they've got an entire universe to deal with. You know what I
Right,
mean? They can
sure.
do anything.
Anything they want.
And so there's a new
and at
time
any
period.
time that they want,
Yeah,
which is what they're
anytime,
doing.
and that's
yeah.
what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
They've got the High Republic era coming out,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be set, I guess, 200 years before the events of the
Skywalkers.
Skywalker saga,
Sure.
which is pretty exciting.
It
Because
is very exciting.
We know Yoda's around still, right?
Right. I mean, he's 500 years old when he died, so he's still going to
No,
be
I think
there.
he was 900 years old.
Was he 900?
Yeah,
900
man.
years old? I'm
I think
sorry.
he's going to be like a spry 700-year-old
Nice.
in his prime.
He'll be in his
You know
prime
what I mean?
at 700.
He doesn't look a day over 650.
Nope,
let's
not
say.
at all. Not
Well,
at
I
all.
mean, Baby Yoda is 50 years old.
True,
Right?
yeah.
Our boy Udall.
Udall.
And he looks like a spring chicken.
He does.
So you gotta let's extrapolate this. 50 years old. We'll say he's going to be like 700 years old. So that's over 10 times that age.
Right.
So what's over 10 times an infant? Maybe he'll look like 17 years old.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know. But I'm starting to think that maybe Yoda's species ages a little differently than ours.
I think so too.
Like,
And
I'm thinking he's going to be an infant and then like Season 2 is going to hit, and he's going to be like a teenager.
Right.
He's going to be like teenage Yoda, and no one's going to like him.
And no one's going to like him anymore.
He's going to be moody.
He used to be so cute. Now all he wants to do is he just wants to play on his iPad, and he doesn't want to, be bothered with anybody.
He's on TikTok. He's on TikTok. He's doing Renegade.
He's doing Renegade dances, whatever. He's like, oh, I'm Baby Yoda. He's like, don't call me Baby Yoda. I dropped the baby. I'm just little Yoda now.
It's not the child.
I'm not the child. It's the adolescent.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh, man. So, yeah, we can look forward to some new, interesting, I think, Star Wars content coming out with that High Republic. It's interesting they went with High Republic instead of Old Republic, right? Because, like, the big...
Well, there were the games, the Old Republic, right? Yeah.
So you would think that they might, like, all right, the Knights of the Old Republic is one of the most popular video games they've got.
Sure.
And it's not one of the most popular video games because it's a great video game. It's great because it has great story.
Great story to it.
So you think that they would go into that. I'm not sure that they're going to.
Okay.
I think they're a little later than that. But maybe someday we'll get to see Darth Revan in live action or something.
And it's going to be cool to see, the peak of Jediism and see what it was like when there was hundreds, if not thousands, of Jedi.
Yeah, that's the whole thing that they keep saying is that this is like them at their highest.
Yeah.
Right? And so I don't know what that means because it seemed like in Clone Wars there was a lot of Jedi.
Yeah, up until whatever the Order
66.
Order 66.
Right?
I was going to say Order 77.
Wasn't, yeah.
Wrong numbers.
One of those divisible by 11
exactly
orders,
numbers,
right? But it looks like they were kind of powerful then, right? So if that wasn't them at their zenith. Be interesting to see what.
Interesting to see what even more of them are because there were a lot back, in the Clone Wars. There's compared to Luke and Obi-Wan being the only two, and Darth Vader, I guess.
Well, the presumed only two. We know now,
yes.
With the wisdom of time and the wisdom of hindsight, that there were more Jedi just kind of strewn about the galaxy, just kind of hiding. But yeah, so that was a very nice segue you just made into the Clone Wars.
Yes.
Right, because that is something we got to. If y'all have not seen the Clone Wars, I've said this on at least 5 episodes now. Go see Clone Wars. Go watch it. Start at season 3.
All the cartoon Clone Wars, not necessarily episode 2, the Clone Wars.
No, maybe not.
But
the biggest thing with Clone Wars for me, and I think most fans agree, is that it solves a lot of the issues and it rights a lot of the wrongs of like
storytelling
the prequels trilogy.
Yeah.
Because one of the big issues that people had with the prequel trilogy is that just like Anakin was this paragon of good, and every now and then he did a bad thing.
Right.
And it was out of nowhere. It was like, I'm this great Jedi. I'm going to kill a bunch of people.
I'm just real angry.
Yeah, I'm a great guy. I'm going to kill all the sand people.
Yeah.
I'm a great dude. I'm going to save the universe. And now I'm going to kill all the kids.
Now kill all the kids
because my girlfriend's dying.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it just seemed like everything was rushed and everything was, which when you only have 2 hours of storytelling.
Yeah, you have sense. To, and you have a 10 hours worth of story to tell, but in only 2 hours, you have to just try and condense it as best as you can. Yeah.
Right. So. I think the biggest contribution of Clone Wars is that it rights almost all of the wrongs of that. It's great storytelling. Mm-hmm. They take their time. It's not like, The Mandalorian, we had already complained a little bit about the fact that it was short episodes and a short season.
Right.
This was 20, 25-minute episodes, but there were like 20 per season.
20 per season
you had a
as well.
long time to really develop characters.
Correct.
And it really did set a lot of stuff up. So start watching the Clone Wars. Start at season 3 if you need to, because seasons 1 and 2 are really tough to get through.
Yeah.
But
there's the seasons 1 and 2 were more based for kids. A lot more jovial, kind of like zany.
Yeah.
And then
like hijinks.
Yeah. And then once you
the
get
droids get into their wacky hijinks, what are they going to get into?
What are they going to get into next? What silly thing's going to happen to R2-D2 and C-3PO.
Yep.
And then once you get this episode or season 3, then they really start to get into good storytelling.
That's right.
Really good storytelling.
Yeah. But they did just release season 7, right?
Season
this is going
7.
to be the final season.
Mm-hmm.
They're not planning on doing any more Clone Wars after this. They were planning on continuing the Clone Wars and it got canceled. I'm not positive why. Maybe one of our viewers can fill us in. I think it had something to do with the Netflix Disney Plus thing. I could be wrong. But it got canceled, which is crazy because it was very popular.
It was very popular.
And they had the storylines made for another season, and it just never wound up happening. And so what we have now, there are 3 episodes out currently on Disney Plus. So go check out Disney Plus. We get at least 4 cents every time we say that.
I wish we got 4 cents
Right?
every
That would
time
be
we
great.
said
Yeah,
that.
Disney doesn't
That
care
would be
about us at
amazing.
all.
They don't care.
But there are 3 episodes out right now, and this arc we have going on right now is about the Bad Batch.
The
Have you
Bad
watched?
Batch. I've watched the first 2. So this
Okay.
is what's funny. And one of my students actually asked me. He said, "Did you see episode 3 of season 7 yet?" And I said, "Oh no." I said, "This was on Friday." I said, "Oh no, it came out today, right?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "No, I haven't seen it yet." But if it was The Mandalorian, I would have seen it twice by like 1
Twice
o'clock.
is a conservative estimate.
Yeah.
At the very least.
At
By
the very
1
least,
o'clock,
by
you would
1
have
o'clock.
watched it twice before 1 o'clock, and then at 1 o'clock you would have watched it with us.
Watched it at lunchtime as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny that I didn't see it yet.
Yeah,
But
it's good.
It is good.
I really like it. They got right into things, and it's cool because they updated all the models.
Yes.
So like we had our like Clone Wars era Anakin and stuff. Who he got the short hair, and he had like the battle armor. It was like Jedi robes that had like a dual armor sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now we've got the episode 3 skin. He's got the longer hair. He seems a little more grown up.
Does he have the scar on his face as
He's
well?
got the scar on his face.
Yep.
Some stuff went down.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really interesting. And so what this Bad Batch arc is, right, is we'd have this clone. Now you get to know the clone troopers very well if you watch Clone Wars.
Yeah,
They're not
the
just-
main ones like
yeah.
Rex and
Rex, Cody,
Cody.
Fives, Aces,
yeah.
right? And so they're not just faceless, nameless
No.
clones like they are in the movie. You really start to. It's the weirdest thing that you really start to get this emotional attachment to these clones,
yeah.
and that's I'm sure they're doing on purpose.
Mhm.
Like these, you're not supposed to be attached to clones.
Right, because they're just supposed to be clones. They're
And
just
that's the
supposed to be.
they're expendable.
Yeah, they're the human version of the droids.
Exactly.
You know, like they're just like, oh, we just produced thousands of these people just for one purpose, and that's to fight your army and fight your war, and then that's it. That's all that they're good for.
They do they explore a little bit of the psychology behind that because they do get into like how it feels for the clones. It's like we were born and bred for this. There's a pretty cool season arc in the earlier seasons as well about a clone who was defective.
Yes.
He like was old and kind of crippled, but he managed to help. So it explores a lot about if you're different, you can still contribute and stuff like that. So it's actually really cool.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes into this Bad Batch. So they have this squadron of clones that are called the Bad Batch.
The Bad
because
Batch.
They have mutations that are beneficial mutations that have helped them.
That's a good way to put it.
But
But they like kept them separated from the rest of the clones as well. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the 7th season, and we never heard anything about them or anything until this season. So we finally meet these guys.
Yep. And so we have. I don't know that I got all of their names. There's Wrecker, right? Wrecker is like, and they get all these guys, and it's totally like, all right, which movie, like ridiculous trope can we put into this character?
Right. Yes.
Right. So we have Wrecker. Wrecker is like insane.
He's
like that guy in like an old Western who has like dynamite in his beard that like you can light, and like he's just nuts. So he's like the big dude who like just throws people around, and he's
crazy. Bigger than the rest of them too.
He's like physically like a foot and a half taller than them all.
He's like 7 feet
and his
tall.
eyes are all messed up.
And he's huge. He's like jacked. He's like,
and he doesn't think, and he's very afraid of heights.
Yes,
that was one of the very funny
interesting
things.
that he's
like
afraid of heights.
Completely fearless except for
heights.
There's also Tech. Tech is like the
nerdy
right?
computer guy, the hacker
like, he's
guy.
The guy who like unfolds his little mini like laptop and starts typing really fast, and you get all the nonsense that comes up on the screen.
Right.
That apparently means you're hacking something.
Yeah, it specifically says you're hacking into the system.
That's right.
That's what it said.
There's also Crosshair. Crosshair was the sharpshooter, right?
Okay.
And he was kind of a jerk.
Right.
His whole thing, he was like dark and brooding, and like, he wasn't very nice.
He wasn't nice.
But he was doing that really cool thing where like they were throwing grenades, and they would like catch the bad guys would catch the grenades, and he'd just shoot the grenade
and blow them up. Yeah.
So it was really cool. And Hunter is like their leader.
The leader.
And he's like basically Rambo, would you say?
Pretty
like,
much.
They base him off of Rambo. He's got like the long hair and the bandana on his head.
Yeah, he's got the
like
red bandana, and he's the
the tracker of the group,
the tracker, kind of like the Green Beret type, the ultimate soldier.
Yeah.
Like he's like the best soldier. So Rambo would be perfect if you thought about what Rambo in Star Wars. That's him.
I would like to see that.
Yeah,
we just did, right?
We just did. We just got.
So the whole arc of this is they bring them in because there's the droid is like the droids are gathering intel on them, and they're using that intel to counter all of their
and I like
attack plans.
They used a word that we wouldn't have heard of when season 1 started. Excuse me. They're saying they're using analytics on us,
right.
which is great because it's like baseball's all about analytics now, and whatever. So it was just really funny that go back to even the Simpsons. The Simpsons, they haven't aged once in 25 or 30 years. 30 years now.
Yeah.
They haven't aged once, but yet 30 years ago they didn't have cell phones or anything like that, and now they have iPhones and blah blah blah, and it just makes me laugh.
Yep.
But yeah, so they were using analytics against them. So they were saying, the first time we go into a battle and we use battle scheme X, the droids don't know what to do.
It works really
well. But then when we do it the second time, they're using analytics against us, and they're able to predict what we're going to do.
Right, and so they have to vary their attack plans every time in order to make it so that they're guessing, but it's not working as well anymore.
No.
And so, without spoiling it too much, because I'm sure there are plenty of you who haven't watched, you should watch, and we'll talk a little bit more about it on our next episode. But they start to realize that there might be a former clone who they assumed was dead.
Yeah, they thought he was dead. They assumed he was dead.
Who they are using in order to figure out their battle tactics.
Right.
It's a really, again, it kind of comes back into this whole clones as humans versus clones as robots thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, here you have, this clone was created for one purpose, and now it's not doing that purpose, so I guess we can forget about it. But they take this squadron to go rescue him because it's not a clone to them, it's their buddy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the Bad Batch squadron, they don't go by the regular rules.
Right.
So they needed to bring them in to battle differently.
Right.
Because if they kept battling the same way, they were going to keep losing. So they were like, we need to bring this Bad Batch in to battle differently.
And they did.
And they did.
They really did.
They did. They did things a lot differently.
It is really cool. It's jarring for some people with the CGI. The battle sequences are very different. They're not as organic as they might be in real life, but I think they're getting a lot better at portraying it. I thought it was really great. You had mentioned you thought that the animation was a little different, didn't you?
It looked different to me. It looked more advanced, maybe.
Good chance it was, right?
Yeah, because, it's the 7th season. The first season was a long time ago. Yeah.
5 or something like that,
yeah,
maybe?
I don't even know. But
let me know.
Yeah, Doug's tweeting us right now, telling us the exact date. So animation has evolved, and even going from the Clone Wars, then they went into Resistance, and Resistance animation was a little bit different. Or no, Rebels. I'm sorry, Rebels first.
Right.
Rebels
Resistance
first
was very different.
Yeah, Resistance was very different, and now they come back to the Clone Wars, and the Clone Wars looks drastically different from Resistance. So maybe it's just because I'm used to watching Resistance and then going to this and going, wow, this looks so much different.
Right.
Or maybe they did, update their ability. Their computers have gotten a lot better over the past couple of years.
Sure,
so
yeah, I'm sure some stuff has been streamlined and they're able to do stuff they weren't before. But it's really good. You should check it out. I'm really enjoying it so far. There's 3 episodes. They haven't said, I don't think, how many episodes are going to be this season.
I wasn't looking as hard to find out how many episodes there's going to be.
I mean, every other episode or season of Clone Wars is a lot.
There has been 20, a lot, except for season 6 was like a half a episode, half a season.
Yep.
So hopefully season 7 will be a long episode again. I can't see the Bad Batch going the whole story arc.
Right.
They got to go into other things, and maybe that's when we'll see Ahsoka come back or something like that.
Yeah, I think I remember this arc. I think is like a 5-episode arc. I could be wrong, but it's definitely not going to be the whole
whole thing.
I'm getting the feeling we're going to see a lot. It's going to be a lot of stuff happens in a season of Clone Wars. They really kind of go all over the place. But again, it's supposed to lead directly into episode 3. So I'm kind of excited to see how they do that.
Yeah.
Because it was awesome the way they did it with Rogue One, leading right into A New Hope. So I'm thinking it could probably be pretty cool.
Yeah. I love the way Rogue One just ended right as A New Hope began. That was awesome. And this is supposed to go right into episode 3, like you were saying. So hopefully it goes all the way, and you're like right at, as the last closing credits, you can even see the scroll of episode
Yeah,
3's
it's off in the background.
off in the background.
distance. I want to be able to like watch the last episode of this and go directly into
in episode 3.
Okay,
Yeah,
I want to be able to like start episode 1, then episode 2, then watch the entire series of Clone Wars right into episode 3.
into episode 3. Yes,
that sounds like a good weekend to me.
It sounds like a great weekend. I'm just looking up real fast. According to IMDb, there's 12 episodes listed on IMDb for season 7.
Well, that's I guess like one of the almost like season 6, right?
Season 6 was short like that as well.
Well, 12 is better than none.
12 is better than none.
12 is better than 8, which is what
that
we
is
got
true.
from
Which is
Mandalorian.
all we got from Mandalorian. Yeah, which is a little short.
I would take 8 episodes of The Mandalorian over 12 episodes of Clone Wars, I will say. I mean,
yes.
I like Clone Wars a lot, but man, I find myself rewatching episodes of The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
I forgot why this is
so
really
good.
TV.
This is so good. I love the storytelling, and also like my man Dave is writing all the Clone Wars stuff.
Felonious.
Yeah, Dave Felonious. Yeah, he's so the storytelling is good, and that's what's great about it is when you have good storytelling, it keeps you intrigued.
That's right. Yep.
So I'm happy with it.
Lots of good stuff going on, man.
Yeah.
I think that's about all we need for this week, right? We've got a lot of stuff going on. We're gonna try and be a little more regular with getting at you, but it's getting into a very interesting time. And again, wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Stay clean. Cover your coughs. Yeah. Right. We might have way more time on our hands coming up in a little bit
if we're all stuck inside. Yeah,
so you never know, but. We're glad to be back here again. Send us some comments, send us some emails, send us corrections, send us drink recipes. banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com. Send us pictures of your Bantha milk, right? If you go to Galaxy's Edge.
Speaking of Galaxy's Edge, so my son, I feel he's the aficionado on Galaxy's Edge. I'm trying to get
the word you're looking for is aficionado.
That's the word I'm looking for. That's what I said. What are you talking about? So he like loves everything about it, can't wait, whatever. So he was telling me that there's a comic book series about Galaxy's Edge. So I was like, oh, got nothing else Star Wars to read right now. So I picked up the first episode, the first book. It was good. It's cool because all the little things in Galaxy's Edge, there's a surprisingly a gift shop in Galaxy's Edge in Disney. What a surprise!
Merchandising. Star Wars?
What? Yeah. So that gift shop, they mentioned the name of it not as a gift shop, but as like an actual store in Galaxy's Edge.
Right.
So they do reference a lot of the little things that are in Galaxy's Edge. I thought there was going to be a lot more backstory to it, but I think maybe, I don't know, maybe Doug will tell us which came first, the comic book concept or Disney building the land.
With the way things are going, I would bet that they came up with the concept for Disney, the theme park, and decided to write some tie-in stuff. Because the same sort of thing happened with the Jedi Fallen Order video game, right? We have this Fallen Order game out, which is great. You should go check it out. It's a fantastic video game. Even if you're not a video game fan, if you're a Star Wars fan, the Star Wars story is great. But they had these tie-in comic books that led directly into it. It had nothing to do with Cal Kestis, who was the main character.
Okay.
But we got introduced to the some of these side characters and other important players in the series. It just seems like something Disney's kind of into now, is just giving context in a different form of medium. What they're presenting stuff in.
Yeah. And that way, when you go to the park, you can be like, oh, yeah, this is in the comic book and this happened and blah, blah, blah.
And you had mentioned you could also get like lightsabers and stuff.
Oh, my gosh. So there's so much stuff. Yeah. So you can build your own droid there. You can build your own lightsaber. Now, the build your own droid is neat. My son has watched, and I've watched also, because I'm excited. Like I said, we're gonna have Banter, Beskar, and Bantha Milk Day there, and the week after 4th of July. We'll give you exact details later, but wear your Banter, Beskar, and Bantha Milk T-shirts, and we'll all take a big picture at 8 o'clock at night in front of the Millennium Falcon, and it'll be all dozens of us. It's gonna be amazing. So we've watched like YouTube videos of people building. You can build your own droid. So you can build an R2 unit with a round top. The R5 unit, I think, has like the pointier top on it, like
Right.
that. And also a BB unit. You can build any one of those three. They have this giant conveyor belt that goes around with all the parts on it, and you just wait for the part to show up that you want, the color that you want. And you can grab it, and they give you a little cart telling you exactly. Oh, was that on you or was that
It
on
was
me?
on me.
There you go. You're YouTube famous now.
That's right, y'all. You can see me if you check out our live stream. Those of you listening on Spotify and or any of your other podcasts.
Yes.
Check us out on YouTube, and you can see me spill my drink on myself.
All over himself. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so they give you a little cart, a little shopping cart type thing, and they tell you exactly which parts to put into your cart, and you go over to a table and you can put it all together. And the droids are radio controlled, so that's cool. So you can,
nice.
Yeah, you can put it down on the ground and drive it around or
I think
whatever.
I'd rather a lightsaber though.
Yeah. So then you
Yeah.
can build your own lightsaber, which is also amazing. And
Pricey.
it's very pricey, but there's a whole thing that goes along with it. Like there's a whole story that goes along with it when you're building your lightsaber, because you could very easily spend it's $200. You could spend $200, and without this story, you could build a lightsaber in 5 minutes, and you could
Okay.
be like, "What the heck, Disney?" Like.
That's what my $200.
$200 for 5 minutes for this lightsaber.
But they make it worth it.
They make it worth it. There's a guy like telling you all about each part of the hilt that you're building, and you can pick all the different pieces, and really cool. And then you light it up, and you can even pick which cyber crystal you want, or kyber crystal.
Right.
And this is I don't know, not spoiler alert, whatever. But if you can buy other kyber crystals as well, and you can buy red ones.
Okay.
1 in every 15 red ones is actually a black kyber crystal.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Downfall, it still lights up red. I was hoping it was going to light the blade black,
That would
like
be like the dark saber.
like the dark
that'd be
saber.
killer,
I would have bought 50 red kyber crystals
until I
get the one that yeah. But the crystal itself is black, but it still lights up red. And then also holocrons. You can buy holocrons
Oh
there.
yeah.
And you can
that's
put
awesome.
different crystals in it, and the holocron will speak to you, depending on which holocron.
Man, I need to start saving money.
So,
I need to get
yeah.
the Galaxy's Edge. It sounds like a blast.
So Disney just knows like people are going to drop $1,000 in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And
well, I guess they figure these people are paying. They're bringing their families.
Yeah.
They're spending $1,000 to get here on the plane.
mhm.
They're spending how many hundreds of dollars on tickets?
Uh,
While they're in there, they're spending how many hundreds of dollars on their hotel,
on merchandise and
on
hotel.
merchandising,
Yeah.
on food. You think they're not going to get a lightsaber to go with
Right,
it? They're going to
yeah.
be like, man, I spent all this money.
I went to
But
Galaxy's Edge, and I'm not going to get a lightsaber.
Yeah,
And they also have, which is pretty cool, if you don't want to spend the whole $200, you can buy the hilt of
Like known Jedi. Like
Known
famous
Jedi, yeah.
lightsabers. See, that's what I think I'd do.
yeah.
Because, $200, that goes a long way in my life.
Just you and me both.
So $60 I can justify for
Yeah.
nostalgia, And I was talking to Rob earlier about this, like just having like a really nice hilt on display.
Yeah.
That would go a
And a
long
nice
way. For me.
bookshelf
I don't even
just sitting
need
there.
like the lightsaber part of it.
No.
But again, if I were to get that, I told him I was going to get. Yeah, I'd want two. Do like a
Two
nice
with the
custom.
lightsabers, yeah.
What's great too is I'm in a marriage where my wife would totally support that.
She would.
She'd be like, "We're gonna have lightsabers in our living room on the wall."
All right.
I'm for
As
it.
long as there's 2 of them.
I'm there.
Yeah, she's like, let's do it. She's like, we need a his and her lightsaber.
I know at some point in our lives we're going to go. We have not. My wife and I, oddly enough, have never even really been on a real vacation alone together. And we've been together. This is our 12th year together. Married 7 years. We need to go on a vacation. I think. I can foresee very easily us heading down to Star Wars land,
Okay.
creating some lightsabers for us
Yeah.
at some point.
I think you should do it. I think you should totally do it.
Yeah, I mean it's going to happen eventually.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, but-
And all you have to do is just add it to our YouTube channel, and you'll become YouTube famous.
So you
and
think I can make it a tax write-off?
yes, it's a business expense.
It's a business expense.
Yep.
You see, I have a podcast, so
Mhm.
I have to. It's necessary.
It's necessary. I have a
I can write
podcast
off-
about Star
Write
Wars.
off my plane tickets.
Yep.
Write off my
Your
Admittance-
hotel,
admittance fee,
and-
entrance
the
fee.
entrance fee,
Oh,
all
man.
written off.
This
Yep,
is great. I'm excited about it. I got big plans in my head.
big plans.
All right. Well, that was fun. We got another one under the belt.
We sure do.
Please let us know. Please send us some emails. Please send us some pictures. We had a couple people sending us pictures of their stuff. That's great. Please continue to
Do that. Yeah,
If you're watching on YouTube, I haven't mentioned the fact that we have a green screen behind us right now. By the way,
yeah.
we got Kyle just kind of hanging out.
Kyle's hanging
here
out
right now.
behind Nick. Yeah,
which is
The
always
lighting
nice.
is poor down here,
Yeah.
so it's not really that good.
But he's there if you're watching. Come check out. Come watch the live stream later. Here we're gonna give away a T-shirt. Rob has no idea.
Okay, look at that.
Rob has to screen print a T-shirt.
Now I got to print another
Stick
T-shirt.
around after this. What is this? A podcast. Stick around after the podcast. If you know the secret passcode, which we will only say on our live stream, you won't get it on the podcast.
You won't get it on the podcast.
I know
just at the end of the live stream.
Anyone who listens to me is just going to go to the very end of our live
That's
stream.
right. But you know what? We'll at least we'll get it. So
that's right.
And our YouTube channel is Banter, Beskar, and Bantha Milk, right? Is it?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
You made it.
It's just from our Gmail account. So
great.
yes. So
yeah,
there
so
you
look
go.
for us on YouTube. I'm going to say a secret passcode. If you send us and tweet out at us at hashtag, I want you to do hashtag Bantha Milk Podcast.
Now we're getting fancy.
Right? On Twitter.
If
you hashtag out to us this secret code that we're going to give.
The first person.
The first person. Right? Not everyone. Just the first person.
This will be
send us
we'll
this
get
secret
900 reasons.
You will get a Bantha Milk Podcast T-shirt. And I will sign it for you.
Oh,
how about that?
And Nick will sign it. I'll sign it too. Why not?
And we'll have who else can sign it? Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni. And Dave Filoni's signature will look just like my signature.
Weird
It'll
how
be
that
really
works,
weird.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you stick around for our after show, by after show I mean the last couple seconds after we press stop.
5 seconds after I stop this.
Send us a tweet, hashtag, at Bantha Milk Podcast. I want you to do hashtag
Bantha Milk Podcast.
With our secret code, and
that's right.
We'll send you out that shirt. But,
that shirt.
BanthaMilkPodcast at gmail.com. Bantha Milk Podcast on Facebook and on Instagram. Bantha Milk on Twitter.
You got it. And make sure you have to do it on Twitter.
That's right.
To get the free T-shirt.
That's right.
That's right.
We're really happy. We're here. We're gonna keep doing this as long as you want to listen to us.
As long as we got the equipment, so Nick and I are just going to talk to ourselves for the rest of our lives, and that's fine. Keep drinking drinks, and talking about Star Wars. And I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
Absolutely not. So from all of us here, we have spoken.
We have spoken. All right. And the music is stopped. It's on Nick. Is it just on you? Folks, here we go.
Listen up.
Listen up.
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.